Welcome to tonight's webinar, Tools and Tips to Support Communication. My name is Rachel Santiago, and I am your facilitator for this evening's webinar. Tonight's program is brought to you by ISAC, the International Society of Augmentative and Alternative Communication, and Toby Dynavox. Thank you both for making tonight's webinar possible. We have approximately 100 people from all over the world registered for tonight's presentation. This is a very important and timely topic as we face the challenges surrounding service delivery for AAC users amid the COVID-19 crisis. This webinar is provided free of charge by ISAC. We strongly encourage you to visit our website and consider joining ISAC. Our next membership year begins January 1st, 2021. My disclosure, I have no financial or non-financial relationships to disclose relevant to the content of this webinar. A few logistics. Your microphone will be muted throughout the webinar. You can ask questions by typing into the question box in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Questions will be answered as time allows at the end of the webinar. We may group similar questions together as one question. Please pose your question in a general fashion rather than relating it to a specific individual. Questions that cannot be answered during the webinar due to time constraints will be forwarded to the presenters so that they can answer them later via email. Now I'd like to introduce you to our presenters. Amanda Hobar is an experienced speech-language pathologist who has evaluated and treated individuals across the lifespan with a variety of disorders. Amanda graduated from UCLA with a bachelor's in communication studies. After graduating, she provided training to nonprofits and multinational corporations. She decided to attend graduate school after a family member had aphasia. Amanda earned a master's degree in speech-language pathology and has implemented low-tech and high-tech augmentative and alternative communication solutions with pediatric and adult populations while working in private practice, K-12 education, and outpatient settings. Prior to joining Toby Dynavox, Amanda served as the Director of Learning and Development at a private clinic. Ashlyn Hudson is an experienced educator and therapist, serving many roles in her career, including special education teacher, lead evaluator, transition specialist, special education coordinator, and more recently, occupational therapist in both school and home settings. She now serves as a learning consultant for Toby Dynavox, presenting internationally. In tonight's webinar, participants will learn where to locate and how to utilize free low-tech communication boards in a variety of languages, where to locate and how to utilize free supports for education and communication in the home, and how to implement therapy resources for teletherapy practice. And I'm now going to hand this over to our presenters.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having us here. Let's see, I'm just going to make sure I have the right presentation up. Oops.
And while she's doing that, I'm Ashlyn. I'm just going to say hello. Amanda's going to start us off, and then I will jump on in a little bit. Thank you guys for being here.
I'm so sorry about that. Just give me 1 second. All right, thank you so much for your patience. There we go. So today we're going to start by talking about hospital resources and then talk about some home resources, therapy resources, and then answer any questions that you may have at the end of the presentation as well. I did want to let you know that we have provided some handouts for you. There are, I think, 5 handouts total, and it includes this slide deck and presentation. And then all of the resources that we discussed today can be found by following the links on the handout that's called Coronavirus Communication Support Materials. We also provided an example of a bilingual communication board, an English ICU communication board with symbols, and then also instructions for importing page bundles. So we will be referring back to those, but I just wanted to let you know that those are available for you. So we are certainly in unprecedented times right now, and we know that unfortunately many people are in the hospital, and this includes people who are on ventilators, people who have differences and disorders in receptive and expressive communication, and then also people who speak many different languages. So to support all of these patients who may fall into any of those above categories, as well as to support our frontline healthcare workers, Toby Dynavox created some free low-tech communication boards. I'm going to take a look at those first. So there are different versions of the low-tech communication board so that you can use the communication board that is most suitable for your situation. On the screen here, you can see a text and symbol version of our English communication board. But each of the boards contains symbols or words or both, so that people can talk about feelings. So they can say either emotional feelings or physical feelings. They're in pain, they're scared, they're tired, dizzy, too hot or cold. Likewise, they can talk about questions. So in blue, you can see they can say, how am I doing? I want to talk to my doctor. What's happening? Down below, there's an area to say thank you. Yes and no are on there as well. So there are also some other parts where they can make requests for things like a blanket or to use the bathroom. At the bottom of this communication board, there's also a number rating scale. And then additionally, with each of the communication boards, there are instructions. So nice, helpful ways to remind healthcare providers to tell the person that there is a way for them to communicate while they're on a ventilator, to review some of the messages on the board with the individual. So to provide them with an example of how to use this. For example, they could say, if you want a blanket, you can touch the word blanket on the board. To show them messages and then the spelling board, which is the third page of this download. So to tell them they can use the letters to spell what they want to say. So that might be something like names of an important person or a short phrase. And then a reminder that we want to leave these boards close to the person and to hand it to them as you're trying to communicate together. And to encourage them to use both the phrases and the spelling board. And then likewise, there is an explanation and instructions for low-tech scanning. So for example, if an individual can't use their hands to touch the board, they can be assisted in using it by first establishing a way to communicate a yes response, for example, by looking up. And then the person who is helping them use the board, for example, a nurse, could point to each row in turn and then ask if that message or that letter is in the row. So they're going to pause between each row, and then the individual can use their yes response when the row that they want is reached. And then once they have established the row, then each item within the row is reviewed. And that person can use their yes response when they reach that item or letter that they want. They also suggest in these instructions that when spelling, it's okay to guess the word after 2 letters are provided, but just make sure that you verify that it is correct, what you've guessed. Okay. So these communication boards are available in a variety of languages. When you download the file in English, you also have the option to have English and a bilingual version, including all of the languages that are listed here. And then likewise, there's just text, and there is the symbol-based version as well. So those can be found by going to My Tobii Dynavox. My Tobii Dynavox is a free cloud-based personal website for managing communication tools. And if you're looking for those, you're going to want to go to the orange banner at the top where it says #1. And when you click to view them, you'll see that listed as one of the resources that comes up below. Okay. So now we're going to transition to talking about home resources for communication and education. We know that with school out for summer and school districts across the country and the world have a wide variety of ideas and plans for opening this fall. We know that families are working really hard to support communication and education at home. So in this upcoming section, we're going to show you supports that Tobii Dynavox has created for families to use at home to support their loved ones during this time. So several of the things we will look at are home learning schedules, hand washing sequences and visual schedules, and then a book about the coronavirus. The home learning schedules, there's several options for the type of schedule. So there is a now, next, there's one that is first, next, last, and there's one that's a weekly calendar. And then there are a wide variety of symbols that are provided that can be cut out, and if someone chooses, they could laminate them and Velcro them, or they could simply be pasted as well or placed on the visual schedule. The hand washing sequences are really nice, a nice way to provide step-by-step support for our communicators who benefit from a little bit more symbol-based instructions for how to wash their hands. I know quite a few people who have just put these next to every bathroom sink or anywhere where hand washing might occur, just to make sure we really help our kiddos stay safe during this time. And then the What is Coronavirus book is an explanation for, again, individuals who might benefit from some more symbol support to improve their comprehension of what's happening right now. And all of these are PDFs, so they can be easily downloaded from mytobiidynavox.com and printed and shared easily. And then another home resource is the Snap Core First Coronavirus topic page. So this is a already created topic page that can be imported really easily into Snap Core First software. We did provide a handout with step-by-step directions for how you can import this. And this will provide opportunities for our symbol-based communicators to be able to ask questions about what is happening. So it's going to give them the vocabulary that they need to be able to ask those questions and to understand. Really, it's a nice way to allow kiddos to express their opinions and feelings related to all the changes that are happening to all of us, including them. And there are some built-in supports just to help with those changes that come and provide them with some positive behavior supports. So again, all of these resources you're going to find at My Tobii Dynavox, and all of those are free resources. And then next, we're going to talk about how core words can be really, really helpful for communicating during this time. So core words are these really powerful tools that teach communication, and we can use some of our most beginning core words to help our children talk about and understand the changes that are happening right now. So on the next slide, we're going to watch a video, and it's the video of using the core word help. And help is such a great core vocabulary word to use because it has so many uses. So we can use help to request an item. We can use it to ask for assistance in completing a task, or to understand how we can work to keep ourselves and others healthy during this pandemic. So I'm going to go to the next slide and we can watch this video for some specific ways that you can use help to support communication. Oh, I was just told there's no audio, so let me just switch out and try sharing this one more time. Okay, well, for some reason, I'm not able to share that with audio with you. So I'm going to just go forward and show you where you can find that video yourself, and I apologize for that. So that was a video from our Tobii Dynabox blog, and this is how you can access the blog if you're interested. You go to our Tobii Dynabox homepage and go to About, and then Blog, and then the post is supporting communication with core words. And so there are a variety of other examples beyond the word help that are available there, and just short videos that you can watch to learn more how to use those. All right, and I'm going to give control to Ashlyn so that she can tell you more about our Boardmaker activities to go.
Yes, so I am going to take control of the computer and and then we're going to talk about some other supports that we have available to use for supporting education, and just different skills that we know that our learners need to be working on at home. There we go. Okay. So sorry about this. And hopefully you guys can see my screen. Awesome. Okay, thanks. Sorry about that. So yeah, we're going to talk about Boardmaker activities to go is the first thing that we're going to talk about. And for those of you who are not familiar with activities to go, it is a really great resource if you're searching for a wide variety of activities to address communication, literacy, functional skills, and increasing world knowledge, or if you're just looking for some ways to have some fun. Activities to go is a great place to start. It is a pre-made 10-unit curriculum. It is totally free, available to download in PDF format and use today. With activities to go, there are 10 different units, And within each, there are 3 different levels. So you can really find that just right challenge, find that right match for the learner that you're working with or thinking of when looking for activities. There are a lot of different topics, 10 different topics. So you can really start with what they're interested in and kind of go from there. What we're going to do now is take a look at what is included in these units. So each unit provides at least 10 activities within each level. You're going to have your 7 main activities you see listed here. And then in addition, you'll have speech and language activities and the supports. Each of these activities has been included to help maximize learning for your learner, and the mix of activities is going to provide the kind of repetition with variety that we know our learners need. We're going to have that hidden picture and word web activity so that we can introduce the content, activate their background knowledge, see what they already know about the topic. And then we're going to have vocabulary lessons and matching and bingo to introduce and practice using new words. We're going to give them lots of repetition so we can help solidify that new vocabulary through use in fun and novel ways. Then we're going to have books. There are 3 different levels, so you can provide opportunities to do shared reading on your learner's reading level. But then you can also give them access to books that are a little bit easier for them so that they can have some opportunity for independent reading. Reading books that are a little bit lower level than what we're reading on is what's going to help us gain fluency and confidence with that easy practice. Just like I'm going to go out and ride my bike on a flat surface before I decide to conquer a mountain on mountain bikes. I got to get good at the basics first and feel better about my skill set before I push on to the next level. And then in addition to those books, we're going to have craft or recipe, that fun activity to really celebrate learning and work on functional skills like following directions, sequencing, attending to tasks. And then you'll see visual supports like a schedule and behavior charts included along with communication boards. These communication boards mirror SnapCore First, the Tobii Dynavox communication software that Amanda was showing earlier. And you can use these boards to model as a low-tech option, or it can work to support communication and become their communication board. All of these activities enabling you opportunities to model that communication and facilitate different conversations. The speech and language activities are going to target common articulation errors and following directions and kind of some language-based skills. So here are some examples of some of those activities. You see that word web up at the top. There's a hidden picture, our vocabulary lesson introducing the word planet. There's our craft for the space planet theme. We have our language activity, our core board or our communication board for the fringe vocabulary related to this unit, bingo playing card, and then there's an example of the book. You'll notice that the combination of real life photographs and symbols are going to be used throughout our units. We have found that these engaging photos really help capture learners' attention and promote that comprehension of the content. So I am a therapist or educator engaging with my learner virtually. I can send these packets home. I can pull them up, the electronic copy up on my screen while they have theirs printed in person or up on a device. These are also great activities for families to utilize to carry over skill practice outside of therapy. If you're a family or you're a parent and you're just looking for things to do, these activities are great, enriching activities that can really help facilitate lots of different skills. Therapists can model these activities in sessions and then have the family use bingo, books, and the recipe to practice using those communication systems throughout the week. I wanted to talk a little bit more about those provided communication boards. So if you're familiar with SnapCore First, you'll see that this does mirror that layout, but with less background color to decrease the amount of color ink you would need to print it out. And I know that with these communication boards, I am going to need to take every opportunity I can to model language for my learners. And that using these activities, I'm going to have the opportunity to create a lot of opportunities for modeling and having those conversations. For individuals that need those communication supports, these boards can be utilized as that low-tech support. Each unit is going to have that core vocabulary board. There will also be a board for people, actions, little words, and what we at Toby Down about is called quick fires, which are just common phrases that you can utilize to say something quickly, respond without having to put a lot of words together, just common phrases that meet a lot of needs. But also included in each unit is a related fringe vocabulary board called This Week's Vocabulary, and that's going to include vocabulary associated to each unit. So in that space unit we were looking at, there'll be words like planet, Jupiter, Rocky, and then those printable versions are going to help the students have that communication support with some of that fringe vocabulary. And you can use any of those boards or just some of them, just in any combination, just giving that learner the opportunity to maximize their communication on a wide variety of topics. The more they practice, the more likely they are to use it more regularly. So again, these are printable units. They are thematic, 10 different themes with 3 levels each, and they're free. So to get these, you would go to goboardmaker.com and you can download them and save them to your computer to use as you see fit and as you need. So again, goboardmaker.com, and the resources, this is included in your resources packet. So now we're going to turn it back over to Amanda.
Ashlyn, I'm going to have you keep control just to see if you can share the sound on our next slide.
Okay.
Yes, but in this upcoming section, we'll talk about how we can use these resources to do teletherapy. So we know that many families are at home and trying to work via teletherapy with their therapists, and many SLPs are trying to do the same on the opposite end. So on our next slide, our lovely teammate Lindsay made a video, and it captures the most important considerations of teletherapy and gives some step-by-step instructions on how you can set up teletherapy and things to think about for both the family and the therapist.
And hopefully my audio will work.
Oh man, it's not.
Okay, let me just look real quick through my controls here, see if I see says audio's good. Amanda, do you want to kind of summarize the video while I look and see if I can?
Yep. So Lindsay just really breaks down how it is possible to actually control the screen of the student an SLP is doing therapy with, so that you can model for them. So for example, if they have their SnapCore first up and you are sharing a screen with them in Zoom, you actually can show them right on their screen how to do something within the software. So we can always send that video out separately. There's the link there, which can be used. But sorry about the sound not working, but I guess just know that it is possible and pretty cool to be able to model on their screen for them. It makes a big difference in therapy. We also have a quick guide that we can provide you with that does that, that kind of breaks it down step by step. So we can send those out afterwards as well.
All right.
And we can just go on to the next slide. So another therapy resource that we wanted to chat with you about and share with you. And Ashlyn, if you want to go forward to the next slide.
Sure.
is our Core First Learning, and these are lesson plans and books for teaching core vocabulary. So this is another free resource, and they are downloadable PDFs. Let's see, I'm still actually seeing Lindsay on our screen.
Oh, goodness. Huh. Sorry
about the technical difficulties.
Still?
Oh, there we go. Okay. There we go. Fantastic.
Okay.
So there are 36 kind of beginning core words, and each of those has 3 books that goes along with it, and a lesson plan as well that tells you exactly how you can get started using these Core First Learning books in therapy. And you can find them here. So you go to your My Tobii Dynavox, and you go to the Support tab, and then to Resources, and then you click on Getting Started with Core First, and that's where you'll find those.
Okay, so if you are excited about the opportunity to use Core First Learning to help learners find, use, and read those core words, which it is an amazing resource for doing that. I want to introduce you to something that goes a little bit beyond those PDF books that are available on the Tobii Dynavox site. There are interactive books and activities that work on the same skills for Core First Learning included in Boardmaker Online. So I want to talk a little bit about that. In Boardmaker Online, you have access to Core First Learning. All 108 of those books, but instead of the PDF print form, they're now accessible. So you can turn the pages with eye gaze, or you can have a page read to you by hitting a switch. And in addition to those books, there are over 150 other activities that are also interactive and accessible, including writing activities, which give learners access to the full alphabet, and it provides them a purpose for writing, which we know from research is one of the best ways to facilitate literacy and communication skill development, giving opportunities to write for a purpose with access to the full alphabet. And sometimes our learners need that alternative pencil. They need a different way to have those writing opportunities, and those are what are built in with these interactive, accessible activities. So let's just take a look at what some of them look like. Again, here, this is what that Go book looks like from Core First Learning, one of the Go books. In the interactive version, you see the buttons along the side where either touch or eye gaze or switch can be set up to make those accessible. The learner can turn the pages, they can stop the activity, they can hit read page and have it read to them. They also have the ability to hit the talk button and have those phrases open up, those built-in communication phrases you see at the bottom that allow them to have some back and forth conversation during the reading interaction. And here are some examples of those writing activities in Core First Learning. These interactive writing activities have different levels of support to allow learners the ability to begin engaging in writing with whatever level alternative pencil and support they need. So on some levels, there will be a picture prompt, like you see in this first sample here, and there will be sentence starters, and then images that they can kind of start to put together to start making that connection between what they think and communicate and what's written down, because we have to start helping them make that connection. Then we also, throughout all the different levels, give them access to a keyboard. So you see that example in the far picture. And with the keyboard, we are going to let them have the opportunity to practice putting letters together and do creative spelling with some predictive text built in. These buttons here will start to change as they enter letters, starting to help them navigate that writing process. Again, this is going to facilitate them not only understanding and learning how to use those core words, but begin to understand and use the alphabet and spelling, because we know the only way someone will truly ever learn to say everything they want is through spelling, and exposure to the alphabet is crucial to develop those skills. And after the learners have the opportunity to write something down, make their creation, then the adult and the student can sit down and talk about what was written. Use their core vocabulary to tell you what they wrote about. Help them make that connection between what they write and what they think, while still practicing the communication with those core words. The interactive version of Core First Learning also includes matching games like you see here. So again, really giving them that practice they need to find with the words. So figuring out what they look like without that symbol support, so they can also start to read it, not always going to rely on that symbol above the word to make that connection. You'll also see other writing activities like this one here is a list poem, giving them an opportunity to use the word in a different way. And then there's an assessment built in where you can go in and determine how much the learner is accurately identifying the word, and kind of getting an idea of what you need to continue to work on and what they've kind of mastered. So all of those are included in Boardmaker Online. But if you don't have a Boardmaker Online account, I have good news. We have something called the Student Center app. And it is a free app to download, and it is accessible. So if you've got a learner who has a Tobii Dynavox eye gaze device, this bad boy's already on there. If you've got someone, using some kind of touch device or switches or something on the computer or an iPad, you can download this app. And it comes with interactive books. In fact, it comes with the first 12 of those Core First Learning books and activities. So Core First Learning is 36 words broken into 3 units. The whole first unit is included on this free app. So it's a great way that you could start having just access to books, writing activities, and just those different games that we just looked at to start working on those first core words. We're going to look at the games and activities that are included in just a minute. But again, it's compatible with Windows and iPad, and you can access it through Tobii Dynavox software. So again, individuals using devices can have access to this. We've included where you can get it, but you can get it at that My Tobii Dynavox website that Amanda's been talking about. I want to show you guys some of the things that come included on that app. One of the things that you'll see once you download this Student Center is these access games. So things like whack-a-mole, target practice, matching, memory. They're so great for building some of those foundational skills with teaching individuals who are using eye gaze that control, and individuals who are using touch and they may not have the motor control to hit things accurately. You can go in and you can change these grid sizes. You can make them just 1 target. You can make them 2. You can build them up. You can change out if you don't want to use a mole, you want to use an alien. If you want to change how long they can spend on an activity, all of those things are customizable within the app. So a lot of great ways you can go in and just start working on some of those access skills. And if that wasn't enough, we also have all of these emergent games where they can go in and they can pop bubble wrap. They can hit those aliens and they explore the outer space, do the flip book and change the boy's clothes or his head. There are puzzles, hidden pictures, a whole lot of musical instruments if you want to create a lot of noise. Lots of great ways to work on cause and effect. Sometimes our learners just need brain breaks, an opportunity to just kind of play and have fun. Or if you're, again, still trying to develop some of those switch skills, so that eye gaze accuracy, or even touch accuracy. All of these could be great to explore and work on those skills within that free app. And then the last thing that I want to show you guys that's included in that app, in addition to the curriculum and those emergent access games, we have these fun math tools, which I, as an OT and former teacher, love so much, because I can think of students and individuals that I've worked with in the past who didn't have the motor ability to roll a dice or spin a spinner. And if we're doing that game in Boardmaker activities to go, and I want them to roll the dice to see how many moves they get to go after they answer a question correctly, they can roll the dice in the Student Center app. Or if we're, you know, playing a different game and we are, you know, using a spinner, they can use eye gaze and click on the spinner with numbers to see how many spaces they get to go. There's also a calculator that's included for some of those higher level math skills. Working on all of those things in accessible ways, all of this is really cool and included with that app. If you are interested in Boardmaker Online, all the activities and resources that we have talked about so far today are available and free. But if you want to make more, you are welcome to sign up for a free trial, and then you would have access and the ability to go in and make your own interactive accessible materials and kind of support that communication and education need a little bit further. Okay.
So you can find the resources that we were referencing today at mytobydynavox.com. You also can check out our Toby Dynavox blog. You can download a free trial of SnapCore first, and all of these resources were also provided in the handouts as well. And then, as Ashlyn mentioned, you can download Boardmaker activities to go from goboardmaker.com. There's the My Toby Dynavox again, and again that blog where you can get you can watch videos of how to use core words and find lots of other really relevant information. And then if you are interested in learning more about any of our AAC products or about Boardmaker for live virtual events, you can visit our support and training page on our Toby Dynavox website. And there's a QR code right there for you under live training. So how you use that is you just point your phone camera right at it. You don't actually need to take a picture, but by pointing your camera at it, it'll bring up a link. And then likewise, if you are interested in earning on-demand ASHA CEUs, you can visit our Learning Hub. You can either point your phone right at that QR code for the link, or you can go to learn.tobydynavox.com. And we're always adding new courses and new live events, so definitely encourage you to keep checking back. And then we're happy to answer any questions that have come up.
Yes, so we're going to open this up to questions. I think everyone got a message, but please type your questions into the box in the lower right-hand corner, and I will relay them to our presenters. To start, there's a question about the hidden picture activity. When you were talking about the learning activities, can you describe what's meant by hidden picture?
Absolutely. So different level. Level 1, so just kind of that entry, emergent, exploratory level, there is a picture that is related to the unit. And it comes with 6 squares that you cut up and you cover the picture, and then you or the learner remove one at a time to see if you can guess what the unit's going to be about. So the intention is you're getting them to try to think about what they already know about a topic, starting to introduce what you're going to be learning about, get them excited about what's going to be discussed and what we're going to be learning about in this unit. And then for levels 2 and 3, we have a word web. So there's an image in the middle. Like if the unit is about plants, it would say plants and have that symbol in the middle. And then the learners can either tell you what they already know about the plants, or they could look through provided symbols and fill in the word web and talk about what they already know about plants. Again, getting them to think about what they already know about the topic to just kind of prime them and get them ready to jump in and learn. I hope that answered your question.
Great. And we had a question about the Core First learning activities and whether they can be integrated with Snap Plus Core First software. So can the books be read to me? Can that feature be integrated into the Snap Core software so a young user can occupy themselves by reading with more independence?
So that's a really good question. What you can do if you're using the Snap Core First software, there is, from the dashboard, there's the ability to navigate to the Student Center, which should also already be on the device. And then that would enable them to have access to those books from within the software. We've recently launched something, Boardmaker Player from Snap Core First. I think it just came out this week. So stay tuned for some more information about maybe a little bit simpler way that you can access some of those books. But for now, you can go through the dashboard. There's a button that will link you to the Student Center app, and then they can select the books and have it read to them through their device.
And it actually just came out this morning. So if you just update your software, it should be there. And we can send some additional supports if needed.
Okay, and so if you have Snap Plus Core First app on a tablet, do you also have access to the Student Center?
Yes, you just have to go to, if it's an iPad, you can just go to the App Store. If it's a Windows device, you'd have to go to the Windows Store, and it's a free download.
Great.
So you could just put that on there.
We have another question about using icons from Boardmaker for commercial use. So the example given was using the Boardmaker icons to make adapted books or activities for boom cards.
So that's a good question. If you are making them for yourself and you have a Boardmaker Online account, go for it. If you are looking to sell these, like on Teachers Pay Teachers or some other site, we do have a PCS licensing agreement, and you can find information out about that on goboardmaker.com.
Okay. And just sort of
stuff you can make.
And just to confirm, a lot of the Snap Core First and learning activities and all of these kinds of questions about integration, are there videos for kind of a how-to on how to do that on My Toby Dynavox online?
There are videos, and they are found in a variety of places.
Okay.
So some of them are online, some of them are on My Toby Dynavox. Most of them are probably going to be easiest to access right now through either the live virtual trainings or the Learning Hub.
For some of the like Boardmaker activities to go and the Student Center and some of those pieces, there are short micro-learning videos on goboardmaker.com under Learning and Support. So like Amanda said, lots of different places.
Fantastic. We have time for a couple more questions. If anyone has any more questions, please type them in. So we do have another question coming in, some clarification if you can help out. On the iPad, to clarify, you need the separate Student Center application in addition to the Snap Core application. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. But the Student Center app is free, so it will not come at a cost.
And the two applications will communicate with one another so that they can be used in an integrated fashion, correct?
Yes.
Okay, hopefully that answers that question. Great. Are there any other questions? If you do need a communication board, for example, the hospital-based communication resources that you previewed earlier. If you need a communication board in another language that you hadn't listed, where could one find that? For the language examples were Burmese and Karen.
Yes, they are continuing to add new languages like daily, and definitely open to needs and suggestions. So you could email us and we can pass it along to the product owners of that area.
Great. So if anyone has any other questions, please type them in and we will get them to our presenters. On behalf of Isaac, we'd like to extend our thanks to Amanda and Ashlyn for providing us with this really valuable information, and to our sponsor this evening, Tobii Dynavox. Thanks also to all of you for participating this evening. We want to remind you to please complete the evaluation, which you can find on the Isaac link you will be receiving via email. We are especially interested in your suggestions for future topics.
So on behalf of Isaac International, I'd like to take this opportunity. I'm sorry, my name is Franklin Smith. For those of you who don't recognize me, I'm Executive Director of Isaac International. So I'd like to first of all, take this opportunity to thank you, Rachel, for your wonderful moderating this evening. And of course, to our presenters, Amanda and Ashlyn. Thank you very much, ladies, for a wonderful presentation. And I know everyone was very interested in the topic, so thank you very much. And of course, a very big thank you to our sponsor, our generous sponsor, Tobii Dynavox. We're thrilled with our ongoing relationship with Tobii Dynavox, and we look forward to being able to do many more of these types of webinars. So on behalf of Isaac International, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to remind you that we are still hard at work and moving forward for hosting Conference 2020 next year, yes, in 2021 in beautiful Cancun, Mexico. We have come a long way since our last successful conference. Although the last few months have certainly been challenging, we have no doubt that we will be very much ready and eager to help celebrate our next Isaac conference next year in Mexico. You can see the dates are right there, July 31st, right through till August the 5th. And as was mentioned earlier at the very beginning of the webinar, these are certainly very challenging times for everyone. So from Isaac International, we certainly want everyone to stay healthy, be well, stay safe, because we want to and expect to see you all next year in Cancun, Mexico, end of July, beginning of August 2021. So again, on behalf of our presenters, Amanda and Ashlyn, on behalf of our moderator, Rachel Santiago, and of course, on behalf of our very generous sponsor, Tobii Dynavox, thank you very much, and have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.